Our next segment highlights an incredible artist, nestled in a studio along the St. Lawrence River in Hammond. He is Scott Otterkirk, and his stained glass creations and boat restorations are undeniably unique. Special thanks to the Dorothea Susan Bodenhausen Legacy Fund for making this story possible.
My name is Scott Otterkirk, and I live in Hammond, New York, right by the St. Lawrence River, and I'm an artist. I got started as an artist right from the beginning. I was drawing from when I was very young. I remember in 3rd or 4th grade, I got in trouble because my whole desk was just literally pushing up from being full of drawings. What interested me in art? I like the creativity. I just did a podcast interview recently, and we were talking about creativity, and I was saying that the medium doesn't matter to me anymore. If I'm working on boats, or if I'm doing glass, or if I'm drawing, whatever I'm doing, or working on my house even, it's all about the creativity for me.
After teaching art for 13 years, Scott went back for his master's degree in illustration at Syracuse University. A challenge while in school was the creation of a Wild West project while in New York City.
So we hired models, and they were a fake cowboy and a fake cowgirl and a fake horse. And we all got the same reference shots. So I did a drawing of this thing. It was supposed to be a Western romance novel cover. I went back to my friend, who is a glass blower, and I said, this is what I have to do. And he said, why don't you do it out of glass? And I said, well, because I don't know how to do glass. And he said, well, I'll show you. And that's a piece right there. That's the first one I ever did. And that was, I took a picture of that, and then that was supposed to be the illustration. And then the people were like, you should do an illustration out of stained glass, which I never really wanted to be in that business, the illustration business. I ended up just doing glass. Within a couple years, I didn't oil paint anymore. Stained glass is a weird thing because a lot of this isn't stained. It's this color when you buy it, okay? So you're buying blue glass and you're letting it together, or you're foiling it together. There's 2 different ways, there's 2 different processes. I mostly use letting. I do a lot of painting and firing. So if you look at the faces and the hands, there's something there that wasn't on the glass originally, and that's the paint that's been fired on. And you can see that there's real wood in the gun, and some copper pipe that's been leaded over. So that it's kind of strange because it works well in here because you've got this light as well, but sometimes it's too opaque. It sort of disappears. But it's a really neat medium, and it allowed me to use my drawing. So the process that I mostly use is called kiln-fired glass painting. And on this piece here, the faces and the hands, like I said, have been painted and then worked before they were fired, and then once they're fired, it's permanent. You could put that outside, that piece of glass outside for 100 years, and the paint wouldn't come off of it. It's part of the glass now. So, but I found ways to use it in a lot of different things. And we're gonna see that the glassware that I sell has a variation of that on it. But it allows me to use my drawing, which is my strength, with the glass. So this piece came about because I believe this is a transom. It went up above a doorway in an old house. I found this at an antique shop. It had a piece of beveled glass in it, so I bought it. Couldn't pass it up. Came home, I drew this. This is what we call a cartoon. So I drew it really small first, but then I drew this full size. I made 2 of these. We have to cut each section out so we can make the pattern for the glass. So this becomes this.
In addition to stained glass, Scott also sells etched glassware. And while he doesn't make the glass, the designs on them are his own.
So this here is an example of the glassware that we sell, and these are some of my bee drawings, and this is one of our logos, Glass Goat. So these are fired on in a kiln, and they're a permanent part of the glass now.
In his spare time, if there is any, Scott enjoys restoring wooden boats.
I've always wanted a wooden boat, but I never got my hands on one. And then a few years ago, a friend of mine was getting rid of one. He wanted to get a new one. It needed a lot of work. And I had done wooden boats before, like this boat that's behind me, the transom and this swim platform. This is a boat that I used to own on the river. But at the time, I didn't have the skills needed to save that one. I saved it originally, but 7 years down the road, I couldn't save it. The reason I don't look for work a lot of times anymore is because I'm also a boat captain, and I restore wooden boats, and I have a YouTube channel. I make money in a lot of different ways, and I like my year to be split up into different things, so I'm just getting done with summer. So I'm not going to be doing as much of boating anymore. And now I'm moving into where the YouTube channel will get going again, and I've gotten on the commissions again. So I like that little bits of things. I have an Etsy store. Just there's lots of little ways that I make money, and it all works really well.
Scott's videos posted on his Glass Goat and Wooden Boat Experience YouTube channel often receive in excess of 100,000 views.
It's a pretty long story, my online presence, but it all boils down to me educating people, whether it's glass or about wooden boats. There's all sorts of ways through YouTube or through other people that are doing webinars that host me on there. I'm teaching people how to do different things, and it gets my name out there. My career, you're asking me about, I don't even know if I have a career. So a career might be a strange way of putting it, but the diversity of my career is more to keep me happy than to keep people happy. My whole life revolves around shrinking my footprint and shrinking my need for money. I went from a big house and a car payment to no mortgage and driving an old truck. But every morning I get up and I like what I do. I never get up and go, oh, I gotta go to work today. Because I walk 30 feet out to the studio in the winter. I walk 100 feet to my boat shed, or I might walk down to drive a boat in Chippewa Bay. But every time I wanna do it.